Hi there, this is Tommaso Ziglia of musictheoryforguitar.com, and today we're going to talk about chord tone soloing. What is chord tone soloing? Is this idea that to help you fit a melody or an improvised solo, a lead over a chord progression, your melody, your solo need to hit some specific notes over this chord progression. And specifically, whenever you are soloing over a chord, you want to hit one or more notes that are in this chord. Example, say your chord progression is A minor, G. The A minor chord contains the notes A, C, and E. The G major chord contains the notes G, B, and D. When the A minor chord is playing, you want to hit an A, a C, or an E, one or more of those notes. And when the G chord is playing, you want to hit one or more of the notes G, B, and D. If you do that, the solo will fit into this chord progression because your mind will recognize that those notes are part of the chord and the feeling you get is that the solo and the chord progression are made to fit together, they're made for each other. That's pretty much the whole theory about it. Okay? Only the details are missing. Okay? And there are two important details. The first important detail is that what I just said is correct, but it's not the whole story, because you can play notes that are not in the chord over the chord progression if you put them in the right context. And in fact, learning how to do these, it's important so that you get more expressive power out of the guitar. If you play only notes in the chord, the solo sounds a bit boring. Then again, if you completely ignore the difference between notes in the chord and notes out of the chord, your solo just doesn't sound right. It sounds like you are playing random notes over a chord progression, which is what most beginner intermediate players sound like. And that's one of the details, and we're going to cover this. The other thing we're going to cover is that playing the notes in the chord, it's not easy, okay? It's easy for a professional or for somebody who had a lot of experience, but it's not easy for somebody who's starting out with this. Why? Because you need to do many things at the same time. The first thing, you need to know in what the chord progression you are playing on. You can know this because you have a chord chart, or you can know this completely by ear. Both are possible. Then you need to know on what point of the chord progression you are. If the chord progression is A minor G, you need to know if you are on the A minor chord right now or on the G chord. Okay? Then you need to know the notes in those chords. So you need to remember that A minor is ACE and G major is GBD in real time. Then you need to find those notes on your guitar, and only when you've done those four things, then you can start thinking about making music. So having a good timing, having a good phrasing, play something interesting, don't insist always on the same place, moving around the fretboard and all the technical stuff, etc., etc. So you see, as I said it right now, it seems impossible, because it's simply impossible to do all those things consciously, in parallel. If you're just starting, you can't say, I'm gonna play the notes in the chord and do all this kind of mental calculation in real time. You just can't. It's too much. The only way to do it is to learn some of those parts so well that you don't need to think about it. In other words, you need to train your abilities, for instance, of finding the notes on the fretboard, remembering where you are in the chord progression, remembering what are the notes in the chords, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, again, as I just said it seems impossible. I don't want to discourage you, because in fact, once you train this stuff, it becomes quite easy. Okay? It's not this kind of monster that seems at the beginning, okay? The problem is that you cannot approach it brute force. You cannot approach it just by sitting down and say, I'm gonna play the notes in the chord. It's not gonna work. You have to train the little things. And once you train it, it becomes automatic. You don't even need to think about it more. It becomes second nature. Now, this chord tone soloing is so powerful that if I apply it the right way, then I can play even outside the scale and make it sound good. jazz if you want. Again, it's a bit contrived because I'm hitting the chord tone every time when at the first beat of the bar, but that's just because I want to be clear so that you can hear the difference, okay? But you see, I can start playing chromatic things outside the scale and it still works. Now, that's soloing using chord tones. Now, what are we going to do now? We have to train all the little things like we said before. And we have to train and hear out a note of the chord sound, and now a note out of the chord sound, and now a note out of the scale sound. And then we have to put all these together and make sure that we can apply these reliably, in an easy way, of course, so that you can play on any chord progression, whether in key or even out of key, okay, and make it all work. These require training a few small things, again, like finding the notes in the chords, etc., etc. So, here's what we do. I've prepared a completely free course on chord tone soloing. You can get this course by clicking on the link below this video, okay, in the description of the video or in the text around this video, you find a link to this course. The course is again completely, absolutely free. And it contains a few lessons, and if you go through all those lessons and you train them, then you will be able to do chord tone soloing, to solo and hit those chord note at will. And at will means that whenever you want to sound in, you'll hit the note of the chord and it will sound in. And whenever you want to sound outside or out, you just don't hit them. You'll have complete control. What this course does is that it creates in your mind those two categories, consonants and dissonant, but it doesn't force you to play consonant. It tells you how consonants sound and how dissonants sound, and then it gives you the choice. Because the point of learning music theory is not to be constrained, it's to be more free, to have more freedom of expression. So, again, completely free, no string attached, just because this is important and I want everybody out there to understand this. If you want this course, click on the link below, follow the instructions, see all the videos, and all the material. There will be backing tracks, there will be my material, tablature, diagrams in color. It's super simple, super visual, okay? And then you too can learn how to do chord tone soloing. And whether in key or out of key, or even whenever a chord progression is in key and then there is a strange chord and you don't know what key it is, these will help you. These will show you what to do. So, click on the link below, and until next time, enjoy.